The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
It's Q101.
Ahoy! Let's go! We're waking up Chicago. Turn up the radio. It's time to start the show. On Q101 with the Morning Crew. Ahoy! Let's go! Welcome to the morning show.
Let's go. Let's do this. 6:03. It's 48 degrees. A little bit warmer than yesterday this time. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We'll have Burt Kreischer tickets, The Machine, at 8 o'clock. And in Clash with Kenzie, gets you to the Halloween pop-up guaranteed entry, which is a week from Friday at the Cubby Bear. So that's going to be with Weathers. They're also going to perform as Green Day as part of the Halloween festivities. We'll all be out there. Halloween costume contest for $500. Yeah. Wow. It's going to be great. All coming up. It's all happening. It's all coming together. So check in with us. Give us that proof of life, 312-591-8300. That's how you communicate with us for the next 4 hours. What's going on in your life right now? Everything good? You good? You
Yeah.
good? You good?
I can't believe Halloween's less than 2 weeks away.
I know.
It was 2 weeks after, as of yesterday.
Yeah.
And so I make my son's costume every year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. Because I usually start around October 1st. And things have gotten away from me.
A little
I'm
bit,
like,
sure.
Whoa, it's off the rails. So
Yeah.
we have a lot of sewing to do in 13 days.
So you're real. Like, you make the costume. You don't just go buy one at Spirit.
We always now there may be parts of it I purchase. Like if it has gloves with it or something, I'm not like, well, I have to stitch those. I'm not that much of a stickler.
I'm going to make gloves from scratch.
Like he was an Enderman 2 years ago.
He was a what?
An Enderman. It's a Minecraft character.
Oh.
And they glow purple. So I bought like a morph black suit because that's what they wear, is like this morph black thing. But then I bought like lights and I had to sew the lights to the costume.
Wow.
So he would glow. Like
Yeah.
this is all the lights. And they had to be like not just normal lights that would lay flat. Like if you bought like kind of those twinkle wrap lights,
Yeah.
they would stick out a little bit, but they have a clear thing, so it kind of looked like the color was floating around him.
Ooh, you got a picture of that?
Oh yeah, I have that one. And then last year he was Marshmallow, the DJ.
Oh my God.
And he was like, I want my DJ board. I made a DJ board for him to to carry around. It's strapped right to his neck. And he goes, but I want mine to make sound. And I'm like, huh. Okay, so that was a challenge. So what I did, because in my mind at that time, he was not old enough to like put an iPad on there and like let it play music.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he was 16, I would have been like, oh, let's just put an iPad on it. But I'm like, no, thank you. You're going to bring this to elementary school? Like, no way. So I was trying to figure out a way to make it have sound. So I bought game buzzers that you could preload your own sound onto, those buttons.
Whoa.
So if you were playing like Taboo and you know how it beeps. So
Yeah.
But I found ones that you could record your own sound onto. So I had one that went like burr, 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 burr. Like I downloaded DJ sound effects onto
Good
them.
Lord.
And then glued those to the board so he could hit like DJ sound effects, like
Yeah.
an air horn, a beat drop. So he had like 3 different buttons on there that he could do that. And he loved that costume. That one was awesome. And this year he's going to be somebody cut in half.
Oh, what do you mean? He's going to be walking around as a...
He's going to be walking around and it's going to look like the top of his body is separated from the bottom of his body.
Whoa.
And so it's he's like, I want to do something just like super unique. And of course I found like a million costumes online because that's all kids give you. Oh, it'd be something awesome. And then they walk away. It's like, okay, I guess I'll work on that. So this year, I found like funny, scary, just optical illusions. Like I was like, I don't know, awesome. Like I'm like, okay. So I tried famous people, whatever. And so we've spent weeks picking it out. And so he wants to be somebody whose body's in half. He liked the optical illusion costume.
Is it somebody famous cut in half?
No, just him.
Okay.
It's just my son cut in half.
I mean, it's still very impressive.
So I got to get to going.
Yeah, why don't you just toss him a sheet? You're a ghost. Oh.
Yeah, he'd be super excited about that. Those are the memories, Brian.
God, a person cut in half sounds like a lot of work.
Honestly,
Because is he going to be like, not like symmetrical? Like the body will be a little
the
bit off?
body looks like it's not symmetrical. You don't have to stand like that. Like it doesn't. you stand normal, but it looks like you're not.
Yeah.
Because you get like a big shirt that goes out this way,
Right,
and then the
right.
jeans that go out straight to the side. So he'll be normal. I'm more worried about him trick or treating
Yeah.
because I always end up holding a lot of stuff because he doesn't want to he always takes his mask off and then his DJ board off, and I'm like, what do you do? Take your pants off when you're trick or treating this year?
So
I don't
then he
know.
puts it all back on before he gets to the door?
No, he just slowly doesn't have a costume on. That's what every kid
Hey,
does.
give me candy. I want it now. I've been
By
wanting-
the end of it, they're just in a coat.
Yeah.
It's just a nightmare. It's like, I'm happy I spent so much time on
The
this.
Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Our locals Beach Bunny there with Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Time for a fact that makes your brain go. And we start off with the tease for the fact. We'll do it at 6:30. We'll give it to you. So, Illinoisians, people from Illinois are the worst at this. Now, it sounds like a very basic blanket coverage statement. And you might text in, I'll just throw one out there. Drivers. No, it's not drivers. Okay, it's not that. But this one shocked me what this study says that we are the worst at. I don't believe it. I got to say that right now. It isn't.
Positivity.
Oh, there we go. Kenzie gets off the bat right there. No, it's not that either. I don't know, but think about it. Text in what you think it is at 312-591-8300, and then we'll tell you at 6:30. We're the worst at this. And I don't think anybody's going to get it until I tell you at 6:30. So.
A hot take. You always think that everyone's just going to, you always say that. No one's going to guess
And no
this.
one ever does. That's why we tease. That's why we do it. So 6:30, that's coming up.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
All right, time for a fact that makes your brain go. I said Illinoisians, Illinois people, us, are the worst according to a new study. And I don't believe it, but I'm going to say it because that's what their study showed, and we'll give you the numbers, is that we are the worst at tipping. Tipping. I don't buy that in Chicago, in the Chicago area. I don't know what's going on downstate. I don't know what's going on, northwest parts of
Okay, wait.
Illinois.
Just population-wise, you can't base the suburban, there's obviously going to be more of the Chicago numbers. But actually, this doesn't surprise me.
Really?
Okay, because if I would have had to guess, I would have said New York, but Chicago, fine. It doesn't surprise me. We have a huge international airport and tipping, and it's a big business city. Obviously, Chicago, tons of conferences here, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Tipping is not popular in other countries. Some places don't do that.
You don't even do it at all. Like in Italy or England, you don't tip at all.
So I don't know if it's the average out of people who live here and know you should. And obviously there's people in there who just decide not to, who aren't stellar human beings. But because you should tip if you're at a nice sit down restaurant. Maybe you don't have the money to tip, but a lot of extra on your carry out orders thing. I don't know. But
Yeah.
if you're going to a nice restaurant and you're sitting down, you should know that's part of the cost.
I would think so. The thing you're talking about, I get it that we're in this over-tipping culture now since the pandemic with iPads. You buy a cup of coffee at Starbucks to turn around tip. You're like, wait a minute, you just handed me a cup. I'm not tipping on that. I get that part of it. That's
Right.
that's kind of a different subject. I took this as only, hey, you sit down at a restaurant, you have a meal.
And that's where it should be. It's always been like that.
Yeah.
And it's that's what you should do. But I think about we have a huge international airport. Huge.
We do. The biggest.
Yeah. So that doesn't necessarily surprise me because it's not popular everywhere.
Well, I wonder if people that move here from other countries take that culture here when they go out to eat. They don't tip because overseas, they don't expect it. The waiters and bartenders, they don't want tips. It's weird when you
No.
tip them. I've done it. And they go whoa, you gave us too much money. They'll say that. So here's the stats. Illinois, the average percentage is 14.22% for a tip. That's why we're the worst at tipping, allegedly. So you should do 20%. Technically
20%
today.
they say is it used to be 18.
Yep.
Which meant I think we just gave up on that because who the hell could figure out 18%?
My dad-
I was always rocking with a 20.
Oh, my dad was always perfect with that 15 to 18%, depending on the service.
But it went up, so it's 20% is the average now. But I will tell you, I was in Minnesota, and this was a hot minute ago. This was probably the last holiday I was there for, so maybe around Christmas time or last Thanksgiving. But I went in to get a coffee, okay? And the screen that turned around, first off, it didn't say anywhere that was easily visible. I'm sure it's on the screen because I think it's illegal not to. There was no no tip button that was visible or X or anything. But it wasn't even that. It was 25, 28, and 30 were the options for percentage. And I'm like, holy crap. And there was no like other, type in your own, or no tip option. Again, that was easily visible, and there's a line behind you. So you're like, and you're looking at the screen. I'm like, I seriously can't see it. It's in like the same colored font as the background, I think, because they don't want you to see it. I'm like, that's a 30% tip on a coffee.
Come on. That's a tax.
You need to pay your baristas a proper salary so they're not relying on 30% tips on coffee, because you're already charging $7 like at this local coffee shop or whatever. I'm like, I think you're making a really good margin.
Yeah,
and people should be paid properly.
Yeah, to hand me a bottle of water, I mean, come on. I mean, listen, and it's becoming a point where, people are just overwhelmed. The people out there buying stuff. And I think the people behind the counter can understand that too. When every time you're adding on this tip, sure, who isn't underpaid and wants more money on a tip on a cup of coffee, handing it to you? But then on the other side of it is, listen, I can't keep doing this. And you're gonna get people, they get shamed into tipping and just doing it like you said. Oh, I just might as well do it. Everybody else is doing it. Or you say no, you're afraid they're going to get a look. It's a shaming publicly of tipping.
I went
for
to
that
the
stuff.
Subway really close to us.
Well, you got to tip well at Subway. Come on now.
Like Dearborn. But there's no line. It's not busy. And the guy, I stood there for like 5 minutes, and the guy was like on his phone doing something. He's like, I'll be there in a second.
Yeah.
And he was so mean. And then he like hated my sandwich. You should have seen. I was like, oh,
He hated your sandwich?
He hated it. Like I was like, I'll take tomato, and he put like one, and I go, Can I have more than one? Like I was describing how to make a sandwich. I'm like, could you spread that into other, could you not put just the ingredient I asked for in one part of the sandwich? Could you spread it across the sub? Like he was so pissed. And then he wanted a tip at the end of it. And I'm like, I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
I just begged you. I just begged you to make the sandwich.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
It really should be reserved, I think. Tipping
For like a full service.
a full service sit down.
Or catering.
Or catering.
We have a big catering pickup.
And you should. I talked to somebody about this who doesn't believe in doing this. When you go pick up food, you should give them some money. You don't have to give 20%, but there's people there working that made the food. You can throw a few dollars there.
Especially with larger pickups, because listen, usually waitresses and stuff, when I was a waitress and I worked at Famous Dave's, people would pick up huge barbecue orders, right?
Yeah.
They took me, I would spend over 10, 15 minutes boxing everything up, putting the right lids, putting the corner, labeling it, setting it to the side, attaching their coupon, and you're trying to waitress at the same time, right?
It's a lot.
And I was never offended if someone didn't, but if they were picking up enough to feed, I would say 25 plus, the amount that I had to bag and get ready, sauces, napkins, but it's like it was a catering pickup. It's like, it would have been nice for a couple dollars.
At least a couple. You don't have to do whatever.
I was never mad in that position because I'm like, I get it. You're still driving over here. You're still going to set it up yourself. It wasn't full service catering. So it was always nice if I got a few bucks for the amount of time and effort making sure the order was correct, but I was never livid if the pickup order didn't tip.
Yeah.
It was just nice if they did.
Yeah. And like food trucks. I don't mind tipping in a food truck either. They're back there hustling in there and they give you the food, something. It doesn't have to all be 20%, but you can't tip for everything over. We're never going to be able to do anything anymore.
Well, the problem is that companies want to pay people less and less and put these huge tip margins on the screen and make it hard to avoid to compensate, because people will stay at jobs because of good tips.
Yeah.
So companies are truly they're kind of abusing all of us because everyone's affected by that. So if you're a barista and you're like, oh, but I like my 30% tip, right? But you're going to go out into the world and you're facing the same world. Like companies are kind of screwing you by not just deciding to pay great amounts. Some do.
Yeah, they're going to go buy coffee or something somewhere too, and they're going to take that tip back they got and give it to somebody else. But the city council passed the ordinance Friday to raise the pay for tipped workers who make less than minimum wage, because you worked at Famous Dave's, you know that. It was way less than normal minimum wage.
Right.
So it's going to take years to get there, but I think at 2028, it'll get to something like the normal minimum wage, like $15 or $16 an hour for a tipped employee. Now, I don't know if that means tipping is going to go away. It just means they're going to be, upped, and they're going to have that money. I don't know if people who work in the bar and restaurant business, know that stuff, or how that, what you're expecting with that new ordinance. It's going to take a couple years to go in. 5 years, I think, to fully vest, where it kind of increases a little bit each year going in there.
Well, it's kind of crazy. There's certain fast food restaurants that you go to where you, normal fast food, I'm not even talking about I'm going to deliver this to your table level. normal fast food that has a tipping option.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I just ordered it.
Yeah.
And I came in to pick it up. I'm going to order it. I'm going to take it to my seat. I'm going to dump my tray. I'm going to it's really, some of it's nuts.
Yep. Fix It Felix is checking in from Joliet here. Ahoy, Felix. What's going on?
Ahoy!
Yeah. What's on your mind?
Not much. I just want to touch up on the tipping thing. Like, I don't drink coffee. I'm about to turn 34 years old. I never drank coffee in my life. But I am really big on the matcha. I'm like addicted to matcha. I'm addicted to like its healing properties and all this stuff. It's really helping the whole pre and probiotic gut health, and all that stuff is so real, and it's so true with all our food. But I actually live in Wilmington, and I'm actually on my way to the city right now. I work on city trucks, the trucks and equipment right there on the east side.
Right on.
And I get my matcha every morning at the mom and pop place because they make it better than Starbucks. The Starbucks tastes like water.
Wow.
And they know me. I mean, I go in there right when they open. I come in there, the matcha guy, and it's great. And I tip them. And when I put my card in the little iPad, I put 15 or 20%. And yes, it is a $7 drink. And I will tack on $2 because they're taking care of me. Like, that person is making that drink with love for me to heal my body.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's all crazy,
I want
but
to go
I'm
to this
super-
place.
Yeah. What's the name of the place? Give a shout out the name of the place.
It's called the Mimi's Cafe in Wilmington, Illinois, and I love it so much.
You say
they do such a
Mimi's?
good job.
You said Mimi's, right? Like M-I-M-I?
M?
Mimi, yes.
Oh.
Okay. And they're doing an add-on to the place right now from all your tips. Adding
Oh,
in
yeah,
there.
no kidding.
Yeah,
They're expanding.
They're going to add it. 17 stores by the end of the year, thanks to Fix It Felix. Well, thanks for checking in. It is good. Like I said, you have regulars and they're your people. Yeah, it's fine.
I would really like to try that matcha now.
Yeah. Well,
Almost $7 a day
you got time. You can
Brian, I want to raise.
I don't give raises. I'm not responsible for you, for your money.
See how Brian looks out for me? Do you see how he has my back?
Oh,
in the
wait,
company?
never mind. Oh, wait. You mean I could go, talk to them about it?
Yeah, we could just have equal pay.
Yeah, I think we do.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Yeah, Brian.
I don't know. You know what? After the show today, I'll go walk down the hallway and I'll stomp my foot and pound my fist.
Oh, yeah, thanks so much.
So Kenzie needs
For
a
you get a raise.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Yesterday morning, about in the 8 o'clock hour, we talked about the Kool-Aid challenge going around Northwest Indiana and some havoc it's been causing. If you haven't heard the entire conversation, it's on the podcast, of course, at Q101.com and anywhere you get your podcast, The Morning Crew, Brian and Kenzie podcast. So there was a woman that was interviewed on Fox that was talking about these kids. What it is, the Kool-Aid challenge is kids plow through their fence and go, oh, yeah, and break through your fence at 3 in the morning. And it's been causing tons of havoc in Northwest Indiana because
people's fences are breaking.
No, I don't think I have to explain all that. I mean, it's expensive, and it's something that started on TikTok, like all kinds of challenges, and now kids are doing it over there. They've actually arrested some kids that did it. So we're talking and playing the audio from the news call of the story, and the woman that's on the broadcast, all her friends called her and said, hey, Brian and Kenzie are talking about you on the air. So she called up. Her name was Shannon, and she called up yesterday after we talked about the Kool-Aid challenge story, and it was her house
that was attacked twice.
Twice kids plowed through her fence with the Kool-Aid challenge over there in Indiana. And here was that call one more time from yesterday of talking to Shannon when she called up the show.
Hello. Good morning.
Oh, my God. We're so sorry this happened to you.
Twice.
Twice, yes. 2 weekends in a row. Same pair of officers came to my door and said, hey, your fence is damaged. Yeah, it was a lovely wake-up twice.
Do you know why they're targeting your fence? Do you know what is going on?
I happen to live on a really busy street, and I'm a corner house, so I'm an easy target.
Okay.
Wow. You sound pretty cheerful for what's happened and the money you've lost fixing your fence up here.
We got lucky. We got extremely lucky that we were able to just pop it back in and go about our day.
Have you considered putting barbed wire on the outside or just anything? I would be evil about this.
The thought has crossed our minds, but no, we just popped them back in and, went about our day.
You're a really good person.
You really are.
Shannon, is your whole neighborhood being terrorized by this, or is it just sort of your house?
No, it's the entire area. 3 different towns were hit.
Oh my God, it's like a tornado.
This has to be
Right. No, it was the first morning it happened. It was our house and 3 others, I believe. And then by the next weekend, I believe there were 10 to 15 houses that were hit.
10 to 15?
Correct, yep.
Don't they have concussions? How are they doing this? Like,
Right, you would think after busting through all those fences. No, apparently they had enough energy to keep going.
I mean, can the Bears get these kids on the team?
No kidding.
I mean, jeez.
Right.
Holy cow. So these kids, I guess 4 kids have been arrested. Are these the kids that messed up your fence?
I don't know yet. I was planning to call and find out, but my guess is they're teenagers. They're not going to cop to anything more than they've been, already caught.
Yeah.
They're not going to
Can you imagine
say,
going
hey,
to
I
jail?
did even more.
Can you imagine going to jail? Some big guy walks up to you. Oh, what are you in for? Kool-Aid challenge?
Right.
twice.
Try that repeat offender.
That's where they get you.
Oh, Shannon, you need to go to court, like the courtroom of the hearing. And when these kids all go up there, you just give them that like stare, the eye look thing. Like you point to your eyes and point to their eyes.
No, when they get convicted, she needs to go, oh, yeah.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101 coming up in sports. The Bears got a new quarterback. That's a fact. We'll get to that. Also, Clash with Kenzie coming up. Your chance to get guaranteed entry into our Halloween pop-up bash a week from Friday. You're also going forward an hour away from Burt Kreischer tickets. 8 a.m. we'll have that. And right now, Gil Curtis with your headlines.
This is not headline news. Flag football will be an Olympic sport in the 2028 Games. The U.S. has already hired its coach, your 6th grade gym teacher. In the meantime, if you want to watch football where players don't tackle, just check out a Denver Broncos game. There's a rumor Taylor Swift is house hunting in Kansas City, but I doubt it's true because she's Taylor Swift and it's Kansas City. Rumors are that Taylor Swift will star in the next Deadpool movie. She'll reportedly play a superhero who defeats villains by bludgeoning them to death with toxic overexposure. And today is National Alaska Day. And if TV has taught us anything, Alaskans are celebrating by trucking down icy roads and pursuing deadliest catches. This is not headline news.
The Q101 Morning Crew.
On Q101.